Right.
Welcome to the January 6, 2017 episode of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services suggesting Colorado's health exchange paid back close to $10 million in federal grant money following an audit of its 2012 to 2014 fiscal years. According to the Denver Post, Connect for Health Colorado officials loosely agreed with the findings and have noted changes have been made to address these accusations. Patty Calhoun from Westward, it's hard to judge this one because you see the organizations try to clean up the mess, but from this audit you realize it was really a big mess to clean up. Your thoughts?
Well, Connect for Health loosely agrees with the findings because they were very loose with their financial protocol. And this is not the first time we've heard about problems with Connect for Health. You know, you had organizations like this popping up all over the country in the wake of Obamacare. You had to come up with new ways to let people know what their options were. But really, the options were not supposed to be spend a lot on travel, spend a lot on food, spend a lot on entertainment. This was supposed to make it easier for people to get inexpensive health care. And when you find out that $10 million might have gone the wrong direction, it's very dismaying. Now we're going to see we're going to be hearing a lot more about health care as the Republicans start dismantling Obamacare. So this is not going to be the only bad story we hear.
Craig Silverman, attorney with Silverman & Levis and a talk show host on KNUS. Do you think the $10 million will eventually be paid back?
I don't know. You know, it's just, it'll probably be slid around. I was thinking about that. If attorneys are going to argue, I doubt it will go to court. But it's nice to know that Obamacare benefited somebody, you know, and what a huge failure Obamacare has been. I've had to change my health care 3 times, always at a higher rate, 3 times in the last 3 years. This is one of the reasons why Donald Trump won. This was the lie of the decade by Barack Obama. If you like your doctor and your plan, you can keep it. Every family is going to save roughly $2,500. Instead, we're paying about $4,000 more per family. Way off, Mr. President, and it's part of the reason why we have a new administration.
Eric Sodman, political analyst. What do you think of we talked about it early in the show about the optics of another topic, but the optics here, does this springboard other arguments? Frankly, we just heard from Craig that it's this issue, the exchange here in Colorado, but it's indicting Obamacare that it's about to go through some sort of change in the next 6 months.
Of course. I mean, Connect for Health, the Colorado Exchange, is a product of Obamacare. Without the ACA, Affordable Care Act, you don't have Connect for Health Colorado. The optics of it are awful. If you read headlines that $9.7 million was misspent, and that's probably a favorable connotation on it. How much of that was actually misspent versus improperly documented, those are probably slightly different categories, but on the misspent side, I mean, why you need all that money going for swag? I don't know if it's pens or T-shirts or basic swag when you have a captive audience. I mean, you know, if a private company, a private architectural firm, a private law firm, whatever, wants to put their name on T-shirts or vests or whatever, knock yourself out. These are public dollars, and I'm not sure that the argument holds water. If there's one safe prediction, it's that healthcare, no one has figured this out. Obamacare wasn't the prescription. I don't know that the Republicans have a prescription, which is why they're wrestling around. And even though the big slogan was repeal and replace, now they're talking about repeal and delay or simply repeal. This is the one sector of the economy. It now is going on, it's not quite 20% of our economy, but it's in the high teens, that quite frankly no one has figured out. And the quality of our health care is not up to what a country like the United States should be. And the cost is astronomically above what it should be. We could talk for hours on end, and I won't, about why that might be. But ultimately, in a sentence, it's because the usual economic principles don't hold here. When you need to go to the hospital, you don't competitively shop, particularly if you have to go in a hurry. There's no transparency. If you offer cash to the front office at your doctor's office, no one even knows what the cost of any procedure is. So it is completely separate from all the usual rules of our economy, and I don't know how you fix that.
Eric, I think you bring up a good point. I mean, all this uncertainty surrounding healthcare right now, and after a wiggly day in the stock market yesterday, the stocks that were still steady and doing fine were healthcare companies. Natasha Gardner, articles editor with 5280 magazine, 5280. Wrap it up for us. What do you think of what we're seeing from the exchange and what its lasting effect might be?
Sure. I'm going to be a little boring here and talk about audit reports, which is something I've spent a lot of time in my professional career looking at. And the fact is, when you have an audit report, they're going to find something. That's what they're there to do. They always find something. In this case, it looks like they found quite a bit. And let me preface anything I say after this with, if they spend something wrong, that needs to be addressed. If they need payback money, they need to do that for sure. What's interesting is this looks at the money that they spent between 2012 and 2014. So it's already a little outdated. So the federal report comes actually after the state audit, which was a much more damning report with higher sums of monies and questions about how it was being spent. So when Connect for Colorado is looking at it and saying like, yeah, we acknowledge some of this, or we're looking at some of it, they actually are, because the state beat the feds to it in the double audit of this department, which apparently has misspent some money. So all of that's going to be sorted out. I mean, if you're interested, read both of the reports. I won't say that they're fascinating, but it is interesting information about how our city, our state, and our country works.
Not saying that they're fascinating is probably the highest praise they've ever received. So congratulations on that one. That is all the time we have for Colorado Inside Out Postgame this week. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.